So, you want to be a successful breath worker, do you? Well, I have two basic questions for you. The first is, what is breath work to you? And the second is, how do you want to successfully share it? Whether that is as a professional practitioner or simply your own use at this point. I'm not looking for a textbook definition or a clever ad lib from your mind. I'm asking you to tell the essence of what you are offering to others. I have said it in every class that I've taught to aspiring breath workers. Know what your product is before trying to sell it. This does not mean you have to have an encyclopedic knowledge of the physiology, the psychology, the spiritual ramifications of breath work, nor be able to cite research statistics or a litany of inspirational stories or references from authorities. Those are all candy for the mind, shiny trinkets to attract unwary buyers. If you're in this class or just listening to it, you most likely already embody the answer to the question, what is breath work? That's right. Despite your doubts and fears, there's part of you that is drawn to this work because it portends something more than just increased life energy, healing of trauma, and high spiritual experiences. Those are just the next level of shiny trinkets to attract serious-minded customers. All valid offerings, but still not the core of what breathwork is in essence. So, what if a client does sessions with you and does not experience an uptick of vital life force in their body, or does not unearth and heal the deepest traumas, and never experiences nirvana? Did you just flim-flam them with a false bill of goods? Well, perhaps, unless you know the truth of what breathwork really is, its real power and payoff that is worth more than any of the aforementioned side products. Let's go back to the obvious basics. We know that breathwork has to do with breathing, the movement of the diaphragm, which brings air in and out of the lungs. We also know that this has something to do with staying alive on the planet. We further have discovered that conscious breathing helps to feel and release repressed feelings and recover and free energy bound by trauma. We also have observed that attention to the breath has helped us experience spiritual truths about ourself, to which books or sermons can only allude. So what do all these phenomena have in common? Now notice your mind possibly scrambling right now for the right answer, or at least what Jim Morningstar would think is the right answer. Well, fortunately, I do not have the right answer for you, because if I thought I did and you believed it, it would slow down, if not stifle, your journey. Only you can experience the truth of what breathwork is for you. I will share a bit with you about my journey to find what breathwork is for me. But caveat emptor, buyer beware. Do not imagine this is your journey or your answer. I can only hope to inspire you to increase your hunger and thirst for your truth, and not to settle for shiny trinkets, regardless of who is selling them for what imagined rewards. So I'll ask you to do this experiment as I proceed to tell you about my journey, my experience of what breathwork is for me. Your mind can have variations of disappointment that I did not share with you something you didn't already know. Or it might become a bit more intrigued about your unique path and what's around the next corner. Neither one of these reactions is that interesting to me. What excites me most is what your heart will do in following my story. Because ultimately, teachers like myself are looking for fellow teachers like you to come out of the closet and join in the wondrous co-creation of the world we are manifesting as we breathe together here. Now, my journey of physical healing from a 5 bypass heart surgery 4 years ago in May of 2019 preceded my leading the largest breathwork residential training we had to date in August of that year. About 10 weeks after I had this surgery, I was leading this training. And it was only by virtue of the team teachees supporting and breathing with me and the loving community that comes to our residential trainings that put me in touch directly with the source of life healing my body, coming through the divine love in each of my team members, as well as all the trainers at that residential training in 2019. The emotional and psychological healing lessons that came through the next year after my bicycle accident, breaking my clavicle, shoulder blade, and 7 ribs, and being taken to Freighter Hospital Trauma Center in June of 2020, and followed teaching the breathwork modules in August and September of that year, again, only happened by virtue of the loving assistance of the teachers from the preceding year to put me in touch with the source in me that is beyond and releases all my stories of trauma in this or other lifetimes. And the following year, I went for a biopsy of potential leukemia in the summer of 2021, and then proceeded to teach the largest hybrid residential training with all the aforementioned help. And many of the current participants in this class all helped me experience the direct connection with the spirit that breathes us all from around the world. Now, I have most often referred to breathwork as the rainbow bridge that unites us on the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level to source. This is not a philosophical concept for me. It is my experience of what breathwork is. It is reinforced even as I lay in bed at night, breathing through fears or pain, or just unmitigated aliveness. I believe that on some level, conscious or unconscious, each person who is drawn to breathwork is seeking that reconnection with their source. Their mind may not be aware, nor is it your job to try to convince their mind, which might just drive them away because of the mind's fear of loss of control. But you know in your heart, it is the love magnet in their heart that draws them to take their next step closer to owning their ultimate truth of being one with Source, one with love. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking with it till I experience something greater. The spirit of breath comes to us through communities, visible and invisible, whether we recognize our guides or not. They're there. My breath work is my direct experience of oneness with Source, which comes to me daily through the loving communities in my life. Human, as well as all sentient beings, embodied or astral. So again, my two questions for you, if you're seeking to be a successful breath worker, are: what is breath work to you? And how do you want to successfully share it? Whether that is as a professional practitioner or simply your own use at this point. Your presence will share breath work if you never do a formal session with anyone. You are a walking billboard for the breath of life. It feels like my body, my energy body, and my physical body, and my heart has really grown being in your presence. So blessings for us all. Mwah.